I'm the mentally ill man, and it's like really late at night, and I can't sleep, and I got things to do in the morning, so I'm gonna do a cartoon tier list. More specifically, a Cartoon Network Originals tier list. What do I mean by that is that it's a show that was made by Cartoon Network or produced by Cartoon Network, and it's going to be exclusive to that network. It was never syndicated elsewhere, I don't believe, unless you count Boomerang. So I'm doing the original shows, so that's not going to be any Canadian stuff, like no Johnny Test, no Total Drama Island, no Warner Brothers affiliate shows like Justice League, just the straight OGs. So got S, A, B, C, D, E. Let's get rid of E. I never understood E. F. Don't remember, watch list, and haven't seen them. So don't remember slash. I always go with been too long. So it's a show I have seen, but it's been too long to where I don't remember it. So let's start out. So first show on this list is the Moxie Show, which I know some of it's considered lost media. It's technically the first CN original. I have not seen it. I've seen snippets of it on like YouTube videos talking about Cartoon Network's history, but I've never watched the show in its own. Next up is Space Ghost Coast to Coast. You'd be surprised. I have not seen it. I've seen parts of it. It's been too long. I don't remember it, but I know people love it. I know it's like a cult classic. I just have nothing to say about it. I know it was based on like an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon. They brought it back in the mid 90s. They made it extremely meta. And from what I've seen of it, it deals with like celebrities and goofing on celebrities, and it's pretty funny. It seems like it'd be right up my alley. Maybe one day I'll give the full thing a watch through, but for now I just haven't watched it. What a Cartoon, wasn't that? That's like the bumper with all the old Hanna-Barbera shows, right? Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Haven't seen it. Now we get to the real, true first CN show, the one that put the network on the map for original programming. Dexter's Lab. I love Dexter's Lab. More specifically, the first 2 seasons of Dexter's Lab I think are absolutely fantastic. Done by the legendary Genndy Tartakovsky. I think the animation's great. I think the plot lines are great. The characters are great. The music, just everything about it is just classic Cartoon Network. It has an edge to it. It's sort of nihilistic in a way. Like, Dexter's an asshole, so he definitely does deserve a lot of what comes to him, but he's not like the Eds, which we'll talk about later on, to where he just constantly loses. Like, there's some episodes where Dexter will win. The villains are fantastic. Just the way that Dexter creates these like crazy inventions to like get out of situations, or he usually gets himself into situations. It's just a very funny show. It relies a lot on parodies, and it does a lot of like amazing parodies for niche things that at the time were not well known. Like D&D back in the 90s, I doubt was as widespread as it is now. It was seen as like a dorky thing. Well, Dexter's Lab parodied that. There's so many other things that the show has just paid tribute to in its own loving way, and I just find the show to be fantastic. Absolute classic. That said, A tier. Seasons 1 and 2, easy S tier. But they made a movie in, I believe, 1999. Genndy wanted to end the series, and he said, I'm done with it. I want to move on to bigger and better things. This was a good starting point for me. You know, get my foot wet, show what I can do for the network, and then he moved on to, like, Samurai Jack. So they hired a guy for seasons 3 and 4, like, 2 years later, called Chris Savino. They changed the animation style. They got rid of all the voice actor. Well, they got rid of the main Dexter voice actor, and just the writing, the humor, just it just was not the same. I'm definitely nostalgic for some of those later episodes, but compared to like the first 2 seasons, it's night and day. Dexter's voice actress changed because I think the original voice actress like wanted to retire from voice acting. Just the animation got super ugly. It didn't even feel like the show was about Dexter's Lab. It just felt like the lab was like a background, and I didn't like it. I'm not a huge fan of it. As a kid, I didn't mind it, but as an adult, going back and watching it, I'm just like, no, it's not great. So that's it. I love the show to death. The first 2 seasons. Seasons 3 and 4, not so much. Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo is another one where it depends on the season. So the first season is amazing. The first season of Johnny Bravo is absolutely fucking fantastic. I gave a lot of animators their foot in the industry. A lot of like very well-known people worked on this show. I'm pretty sure Seth MacFarlane did a bunch of episodes for Johnny Bravo. He said he loved working on it. A few other people I can't name, but I'll go back and check. But yeah, it's hilarious and it's very chauvinistic. And a lot of people would say that Johnny Bravo as a show couldn't exist today. But you have to understand that Johnny Bravo is a chauvinist idiot who gets the shit kicked out of him by women constantly. He gets denied by every woman in his life. Doesn't matter how buff or good looking he is. And that's, that's the show. It's great. And the plot lines are great. The side characters are great. It's just very laid back, very classic show. And seasons 2 and 3, they got rid of the original showrunner. And the second and third season, it's still good, but just the humor definitely changes a lot. And then by the fourth season, the original showrunner comes back. I tend to stick in the camp to where I like the entire show, but I think the first season is by far and away the best. I like seasons 2 and 3, and then season 4, the original guy came back. I think it's great, but just it doesn't have the edge that the first season had. But overall, I haven't watched it in a long time. I'll watch an episode here or there. Solid B tier show. I gotta give it a rewatch. Really funny though. I love the character. Johnny Bravo's like a top 10 Cartoon Network character. Cow and Chicken. Cow and Chicken's fucking hilarious. Yes, it is a rip-off Ren and Stimpy, but it is completely fucking deranged. Yes, it does try too hard, but yeah, it's hilarious. What can I say about Cow and Chicken? It's gross. It's in your face. It is pure 90s gross out, and I love it. I think it's great. Really funny. The red devil guy, is like one of the best characters like ever. I think he's hilarious. I think he might be my favorite Cartoon Network villain, even above some of the great ones I'll mention later. But yeah, it's just really weird and fucked up. I don't think it's as funny as Ren and Stimpy or as like deranged as that show, but yeah, it's definitely really funny, and I think a lot of people hate it. But I'm on the internet, I'm on like animation Twitter and stuff, and I don't notice people giving it shit. I see a lot of people that love it for what it was, just a silly, funny cartoon. I Am Weasel. So when Cow and Chicken first started, there were 3 segments. I think one of those segments was I Am Weasel. It was always the weakest part of Cow and Chicken. It was about a weasel who was like perfect, and he could do everything and could never do any wrong. And then it was about IR Baboon, who was a baboon who was dumb and jealous of Weasel, and that was the show. The baboon tried to copy the weasel or tried to mess with him and ruin his life in a way, whatever event was going on, and he always failed. And I'm gonna be honest, it's not like a bad show. It still has that like Cow and Chicken charm to it, but it doesn't match up to Cow and Chicken. It's just not as memorable or funny, even though they did shoehorn in the red guy to make the show more interesting. I don't hate the show at all, but I would put it in like low C tier. Still pretty funny. Still has its moments. It's watchable. Powerpuff Girls. Easy A tier, even when Savino comes in later. This show's awesome. Made by Craig McCracken. Very heartwarming show about 3 girls that just beat the shit out of like these supervillains that torment their town, and they have to also balance life between being kindergarten students and beating up crime. I think it's great. Very violent show. Very pulpy. There's a lot of like missing teeth. They would beat the shit out of Mojo Jojo, who's like a great villain, and like his fucking brain would like pop out of his dome every week, and like you'd see like his exposed brain. There'd be like blood everywhere. Yeah, really, really violent show. And I know a lot of people say, oh, when we were boys, we always pretended not to like the Powerpuff. Bro, Powerpuff Girls is fucking awesome. It always was. I don't think the show got bad until like the later seasons after they switched to digital, but even then it was still pretty good. So easy A tier, iconic. I think it was probably Cartoon Network's most successful show in terms of like merchandise, but I could be wrong there. I think up until at least like Adventure Time, it was like the merchandise king or queen. But it was awesome. The Rogues Gallery was great. All the girls had great voice actresses and very distinct personalities. The professor's like a great father. Mojo Jojo was a great villain, and I love the specials. I love the plots that they would come up with. I love Tom Kenny as the narrator and the mayor. It was just classic Cartoon Network, and it's when TV had a little bit more edge to it for kids. Ed, Edd n Eddy, easiest S tier of my fucking life. Ed, Edd n Eddy is perfect television for kids. There's so many things I could say about this show. I always loved it as a kid. It was always like my number 2 as a kid to a show we'll talk about later. But as of now, I would say, spoiler alert, it's my favorite Cartoon Network show ever made. Why is it so good? Well, first off, let's talk about the world, the Ed, Edd n Eddy verse. I think the show works best when it feels like it's an endless summer. When you feel like you come home from school and you watch the show. It could be Christmas time and it would be summer in the show. And you're just like, oh, what adventures can they come up with? What are they going to do? What scams are they going to build? And it just takes you back to like being a kid in like a suburban neighborhood, if that's where you grow up. Playing with your friends, getting into trouble, trying to make some money to go to the candy store, the toy store, or whatever. The characters are all assholes. Like, they're all assholes, and they're all like trying to one up each other. It's a very mean, very nihilistic show. Usually ends with the Eds getting the ever-loving shit beaten out of them, but like that's what's so good about the show. You have that great chemistry between the main 3 characters, and it's been done before. Like, there's always been trios, the Marx Brothers, the Three Stooges, but I feel like Ed, Edd n Eddy's my favorite, because you have Eddie, who's like, he's the hustler, he's the fucking asshole, but he's always coming up with schemes to make money, and he's the ideas guy. He's the best. And people have said they hated Eddie as a character. Well, that's the whole point, is that Eddie's an asshole. But why I love Eddie, why I tolerate him compared to other characters I'll talk about later, is that he's just funny as fuck, and he's the man with the plan. Double D, he's very neurotic, but he's the make it happen guy. He's the brains behind the operation. Eddie's the ideas. Double D makes it happen. So he's the brainy one, very timid, very neurotic, but you know, he's a great loyal friend. And then you have Ed, who's probably like the greatest Cartoon Network character ever, and the funniest cartoon character of all time. He's just a big, lovable oaf, and just the chemistry between them is amazing. And you could do an episode where it's Double D and Ed teaming up. You can do one where it's Eddie and Ed, or it's just so funny. The neighborhood kids are complete fucking assholes. Rolf specifically, who's like an amalgamation of all like the foreign kids that we grew up with. Rolf is the funniest side character in the history of television. Infinitely quotable. Your cucumbers are soft. I can't even quote Rolf quotes, because everything that comes out of his mouth in that show is just amazing. And going back to like the environments, like you would always see the same characters and you'd see the same environments over and over again. Like one episode would take place at the junkyard, one episode would be solely in like Eddie's bedroom, one episode would just be outside in the cul-de-sac. Then you would rarely go to like Rolf's farm, the haunted house, and they kept reusing these environments. But it makes you get more familiar with the show, because they're not shoving in new places each episode. They're relying on the same set pieces, and that's great because it makes the world feel more lived in and familiar to you as you watch the show. You could be watching that show for years. You could be watching that show for years and you'd be like, oh wow, you know, I've been watching the show since it aired, and they're doing an episode at the junkyard. Let's watch that, see what they're getting up to. And I feel like a lot of people say that the show lost its magic once they went to school, and for a long time I disagreed. Upon rewatch, I can definitely see what some people say. They definitely amp up the slapstick. It's a very slapstick heavy show, but by that final season, it goes a little bit too over the top, even for like a cartoon. Just too many exaggerated faces. It sort of reminds me of like modern SpongeBob in a way. But that doesn't mean the show got bad. I don't think it got bad at all, or had seasonal rot or anything like that. I still think it's very funny in that final season. The switch to digital was a little jarring at first when I was a kid, but you get used to it. But I will say the trade-off is that we had some great specials. We had the 3 holiday specials, which are all fantastic. Jingle Jangle Jangle, Jingle Jangle Jingle, Boo Ha Ha, and then I'm trying to remember the Valentine's Day one, but they were all spectacular. And then that doesn't even mention the ending, because they were working on a 6th season. They cut the season short, and they just focused all their development time or production time, I'm thinking of video games, on the movie Ed, Edd n Eddy's Big Picture Show. And that movie, in my opinion, is the greatest thing that's ever been put on Cartoon Network. Why? I'll talk about that right now. Fine. Because you have this very nihilistic show like Ed, Edd n Eddy. It's solely based on like its comedy. There's not many heartfelt moments. Those moments are very few and far between. They still exist, but they don't happen that much on the show. And then all of a sudden, you have this 90-minute finale movie which deals with the Eds as characters and as people, and like learning to grow and mature, and it's just fucking amazing. And all that time you spend in those same environments, and then here's a finale movie where they meet new characters, they go to new places that you've never seen before. It's action packed, it's funny, it's heartfelt, and the ending of it is absolutely spectacular. And what's funny, I was talking to a friend about this earlier, is that Ed, Edd n Eddy premiered in 1999. That was when they were still using the Cartoons handle for all their new shows. It was the last cartoon made. And all throughout the 2000s, it was the last cartoon to survive. And I feel like Big Picture Show is sort of like, it's going to sound silly, is a finale to that classic first era of Cartoon Network, but it's also in a weird way a finale to a lot of people's like childhoods. I could be wrong there, but it was just so fulfilling finally watching that movie as a kid, because I was older at that point. I'd spent my entire youth watching it at Netty, and then to finally see that ending and just how well done it was, it hits the fucking feels. And I never thought I would get that from a purely comedy show like Ed, Edd n Eddy. I could talk about this show all day. S tier, absolutely perfect. Love everything about it. Mike Lewinogue, oh boy, easy F tier. Super ugly show. I think it was the only cartoon show not made. No, that's not true. Ed, Edd n Eddy was made and produced in Canada, but Mike Lewinogue was made in, I think, Russia, or like an affiliate country to Russia, and it's like the blandest show ever. It feels like a Nickelodeon show, not something high energy from Cartoon Network. It sucks. It's not good at all. Very boring plots. The main characters are all pretty forgettable. The animation, it looks like Klasky Supa, but it's not. It's pretty ugly. The only thing I will say about the show is like it's pretty inoffensive and pretty laid back. There's nothing like egregiously bad about it. Some of the music's kind of nice. I kind of like the environments of the show, but overall, like any other show that was on at the time, even like I Am Weasel, far above Mike Lewinogue. Just a boring fucking show. Alright, next up is Courage the Cowardly Dog, and I say that funny because I'm from the Northeast. This show is spectacular. It is a pure horror show. I say horror funny because I'm from the Northeast. It is the most fucked up show that Cartoon Network's ever made, and I think it's more fucked up than a lot of Adult Swim shows. Why do I say that? Because the imagery and visuals and aesthetic and music of this show are just demented and sick and twisted. And you talk about children's horror, this is probably the finest example that I can think of. Very demented, sick show, but very heartwarming. It has a lot of very sweet episodes. You have the main trio: Courage the Cowardly Dog, Muriel, who's his sweet old lady owner, and then her rotten, despicable husband Eustace, who constantly tortures and beats Courage. He like demeans Muriel, and he's just a bastard all around, but he is iconic. And they live out in the middle of nowhere in, I think, Kansas, and where they live is probably on a fucking burial ground, because all this weird fucked up shit happens like every day, and it always ends up with them almost dying at the hands of some monster or creature or demon or alien or ghoulie. And Courage always comes in, and most of the time, I think there's like 1 or 2 episodes where he doesn't, but Courage saves the day. He is the most loyal character in the entire Cartoon Network sphere, probably like behind only Samurai Jack. And I think if you go online, like the discourse is that he's the favorite, like the fan favorite character out of every Cartoon Network show. I think Reddit did a poll about a year ago, and he ranked number one. And I have to say, yeah, he's awesome. He's a great character. He's funny. I love like when he gets the shit beaten out of him, and he's just like covered in like blood and like bruises, and he just starts laughing manically. I think that's awesome. But yeah, perfect show. You could probably guess where I'm gonna put it. Just everything about it's amazing, and I know they've been trying to like revive it for years. I kind of hope they do, because I feel like there's still more to tell with the show. But now that like the voice actors passed away for like Muriel and Eustace, it's like, nah, just leave it as is. Don't mess with it. And it had a pretty decent run. It had like 50 something episodes, so it ended pretty early. Like it ended in like 2002. It was only on the air for like 3 years. So that's kind of a shame when you think about it, because like I watched it all throughout the early to like late 2000s, and I'm like, damn, it ended in like '02. Like that's fucking early. So yeah, it's excellent. I have the box set for it. Actually, I have all the box sets for the Cartoon Network shows I like, but Courage is one of the first ones I picked up. It's cheap. It's like $10. But yeah, Courage is an amazing show. Sheep in the Big City. Don't remember. It's been too long. I've watched clips of this recently again, because there's a guy I watch that does a series called Cartoon Network-O-Rama, where he just talks about all the Cartoon Network shows, and I vaguely remembered watching it in like the early 2000s. I don't think they reran it too much like in the mid 2000s, but it's a very meta show, very funny, silly, wacky, and I feel like it was a little bit ahead of its time in terms of that. It was a very adult feeling kids cartoon. I gotta check it out again. Time Squad, again. I do remember watching Time Squad, but it's also been too long for me to make an opinion on it. I know people love it. They call it like a cult classic now. It's about a bunch of people going through time, fixing issues, interacting with like historical figures. I just don't have a lot to say about it. I think it's a cool concept. I just don't remember it. So maybe I'll check that out again if I ever do a video on it. Samurai Jack. Yeah, I'm gonna put it right there. Yeah, I'm trying to do this in order, by the way. So if Ed and Eddie's there, Mike Luvino's at the bottom. There you go. Samurai Jack was the second Cartoon Network project created by Genndy Tartakovsky. I know Genndy worked on storyboarding other shows, but this is his second full-on show. It is a absolute masterpiece. I don't use that term lightly. It is a masterpiece. It's storytelling, atmosphere, art direction, characters, just everything about it is just perfect. Premise of it is a samurai has to deal with an ancient evil. His family gets attacked and held captive. He gets sent all over the world, learning about different cultures, their fighting styles, and then one day when he's old enough, he comes back to face the evil, almost kills him. The evil's name is Aku. He's like an eldritch demon creature. And Jack gets sent back to the past. Aku uses his magic to open a portal and send him back in time. The entire show is about Jack trying to get back to the past to stop Aku once and for all. And each episode takes place in the future, and it is very different. Each episode definitely pays tribute to different things. There's an episode that pays tribute to the graphic novel 300. There's one that pays tribute to classic Shinobi movies. Some sci-fi films are paid tribute to, Lawrence of Arabia. So many different things. They do so many different styles in this show. The fighting choreography is spectacular. I bet the storyboards look spectacular looking at them. Jack as a character is great. He's very silent a lot of the time, but he's also extraordinarily noble, and he always tries to do what's right, even to a fault. There's episodes where Jack will find like a way to get back to the past. Usually they're time portals. Time portals are machines, and he doesn't use his head because he always chooses to save the people at that time that are being attacked, rather than quickly jump through the portal, which he could go back in time, kill Aku, and then yada yada, prevent the bad future. But Yeah, this show is amazing. I think it has like, I don't want to say bad episodes. It has like sillier episodes. Like you'll have like the 300 episode I mentioned earlier, which is like a master class and everything, and then you'll have like an episode where Jack turns into a chicken, which is still crazy and funny and silly, and I love it. But yeah, this show can balance silliness, seriousness, horror. There's a few like really fucked up episodes. Jack in the Haunted House, check that one out. It's like a top 10 episode. Yeah, it's great. The side characters are memorable. Aku as the villain is such a bastard, voiced by oh my gosh, I forget the guy's name at the moment, but he also voiced Uncle Iroh in Avatar, which is another amazing show. But yeah, he's a complete bastard. He's a great foil to Jack. But yeah, the show ended in 2004, and I think the 4th season might be my favorite because it had some of the more unique episodes. Like there's an entire noir episode that's not even told from the point of Jack, but yeah, that season was great. They ended it on like a cliffhanger. For 13 years, Jack never made it back to the past. They were gonna make a film that sort of went into development hell once they saw the other theatrically released Cartoon Network films weren't doing so hot box office wise. But yeah, they brought it back on Adult Swim in early 2017, which is almost a decade ago, which is really fucked up. And they ended it. I love that final season. I think it definitely felt rushed, more specifically the ending, but I think what they did and what they accomplished was great. My only gripe with it is that final episode should have been like an hour and a half. And then there's some romantic things that I'm kind of on edge about. Like there's a character that Jack should have been a mentor towards instead of a love interest. I think that would have been better, but I don't know. I'm happy with what we got. I think it had a pretty solid ending, but not as good as Ed, Edd n Eddy's ending, which is crazy because Jack is the more serious show, and Ed, Edd n Eddy's the more comedic show, and I think that finale movie is way better than the final episode of Samurai Jack. But they had a finale game to like retcon the original ending, and I think that game's pretty fun. So yeah, overall I love it. I hope they don't really do more with Samurai Jack. They could bring it back because you could tell like infinite stories in that timeline because Jack was wandering that land for 50 years, and there's definitely more stories that can be told, but it's like, what's the point? We already know how it's going to end. So yeah, S tier, easy S tier. Grim and Evil. Grim and Evil was the combination duology show of Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy and Evil con Carne. It's pretty much season 1 of both those shows. I don't think that Billy and Mandy really started to hit its stride until later seasons. I know that's a very contentious opinion because a lot of people love the more horror-focused first season of Billy and Mandy before it goes out and becomes a full-fledged comedy. That's what both these shows are. They're one. I guess Billy and Mandy's a horror comedy, and then Evil con Carne is like like a military comedy. I don't know. I guess they're both horror comedies, but Maxwell Adams, the creator, decided. Oh my gosh, my voice broke. He decided that he wanted to focus production on one show. He chose the one that he thought would be the most successful. So he put more time making Billy and Mandy. And both shows split up, became their own things. Evil con Carne did not last that long. I don't think Evil con Carne is that good of a show, but I do love the characters in it. But if we're just rating like seasons 1 and 2 of Evil con Carne and Billy and Mandy, honestly, it'd be like a low B for me, honestly, because I don't think that Billy and Mandy really started to get really good until later on, which we'll talk about. But the first season does have a few great episodes. The pilot's amazing for Billy and Mandy, and then there's an episode called Little Rock of Horrors, which is where they get the voice talents of Aurelio Voltaire, who's a legend in the Gothic community, who I've seen live several times. I think he's fantastic. I've listened to his albums a lot. He's got a movie coming out, which I'm going to go see live, and Yeah, I just based on the first season, it's like low B. It's still very fun and cartoony, but get Evil Con Carne out of the way. I did not watch this show on air. I don't remember watching this at all, and I like that was a period where I watched Cartoon Network, so they must have not rerun it a lot. They must have been embarrassed of the show. It's coming to Tubi in HD. I did do a rewatch of it years and years ago. I downloaded it. Don't tell anybody. But it's not that good, man. It's not that good, and it sucks because I love Maxwell Adams' style. I love his sense of humor. But Billy and Mandy, bro, fucking S tier. Yes, I do put it above Samurai Jack and Courage. When I was a kid, this was my favorite Cartoon Network show. It's the one that I'm still obsessed with. I have the most memorized. I've watched it fully through several times. I think it has fantastic specials, amazing movies. The characters are really fucked up. I didn't even talk about the premise of it. The premise of Billy and Mandy is that two kids con the Grim Reaper into being their best friend for life. They win a contest against him, and he pretty much becomes their slave, and he just does random shit for them. The show is absolutely fucking bad shit. I don't think it gets as crazy as Courage, but it's definitely still really weird and wacky. And like they go to the underworld, they go to like hell, they fight demons, they fight gremlins, they fight aliens. It's pretty much, the show is just like one giant like parody or like tribute to horror movies. And there's a lot of like obscure references in this show too that I never thought they would have gotten away with, like Man Bites Dog, Zardos, just kind of like obscure shit. And I fucking love it. I love the voice acting of it. I think Grimm's like my favorite Cartoon Network character. Maybe that's debatable. That's a list for another day. But I think he's fantastic. Billy and Mandy are both little bastard children. Mandy's like completely evil, wants to take over the world. Super nihilistic. Probably one of the most nihilistic, evil, rotten characters ever put to kids media. And then Billy's like the dumbest character ever. Like not like lovable dumb, like dangerously stupid. And yeah, just the scenarios they get into are just great. And the show starts out like pretty crazy as it is, and then just as the seasons go and the animation changes, it just gets more and more fucking hyperactive and messed up. And Maxwell Adams came out years later on Tumblr and stated that all the characters, all the main trio, are autistic, which makes me like the show even more because it's like a really funny representation of autism. And yeah, it's between that and Ed and Eddie as my favorite CN show. Spoiler for the rest of the list. It's just my style of humor, but it's like night and day. I don't know which one I would pick at the moment. Probably Ed and Eddie as of right now, but it depends on like what mood I'm in. That's how close those shows are for me. I love both of them. I hope it gets a box set. I hope one of these days they decide to give Billy and Mandy some sort of box set because it is long overdue. I'm not a physical media collector, but I would definitely buy something for that show. The game's also great, but yeah, I'll do like a full video on my actual channel of it one of these days. And then Evil Con Carne is a military show about just this supervillain group that tries to take over the world, and I don't know, I just don't think the humor's there. I don't think it's very funny. I don't think a lot of the parodies land. It gets kind of annoying, gets kind of stale, and I just don't like it. So that's that. That's enough talking about those shows. Whatever Happened to Robot Jones? That's the Schoolhouse Rock looking show. I didn't like it as a kid. I thought it was whatever. It's been too long for me to make an opinion on it, so I can't discuss it. This is like one of my top shows as a kid. I fucking loved KND. I fucking loved it. I think out of all the shows, like up to this point, this is the, well, aside from Jack, even more so than Samurai Jack, this is the show with like the most ongoing plot points. So it was very serialized in a way. You would have like an episode happen, and then like maybe like a season or two later they would follow up on that and do like a sequel to it, or they would close that plot line out. It was very good in that aspect, and I love the characters. I love all 5 of them, all the operatives. I do have a ranking of the operatives. I'm not going to get that done now, but number 4 is the best. I love all of them though. The specials were great. The movies were great. It definitely had like a great expanded lore to it, and like by the end of the show, like it's like, oh, not all the KND operatives are on Earth. There's like an entire galactic disbursement of them. It made the show feel even bigger, and it definitely opened up plots to a sequel series, which was never made, which I think they're still trying to make, but we'll see where that goes. But yeah, just talking about the regular show, just super memorable, and it was about kids fighting adults, fighting teenagers, fighting like these weird Batman-esque superhero style villains that just want to torment kids and put them in place. And I just love Kids Next Door, man. It's another show that needs a box set, right up there with Billy and Mandy. I would buy a box set the day it comes out. I have rewatched it on streaming. It definitely gets a little gross, a little annoying, but it was a show made for kids in the early to mid 2000s. So what the fuck? What am I gonna say about it? I'm a grown man now. I grew up watching this shit. I love it, and yeah, it's just very action packed, very well done. There's a lot of cool plots to it. The tree houses are awesome. I love the moon base. I love just how much weird, crazy shit happens in it. But I mostly love the ongoing like plots and stories. Like each character has to deal with their own like little plot thread. Characters grow over time, which is crazy for a show. And the more I'm talking about it, like I was gonna put it in B tier, man. No, it's A, man. K&D's great. It's really, really good, and I'm probably gonna rewatch it again at some point. So yeah, that's my opinion on K&D. I would love to watch Galactic K&D. I think it'd be awesome. Next up, we have Tartakovsky's third show, which it was like a shorts thing that Cartoon Network aired every like week. Because I remember my dad forced me to watch it, because my dad's like a huge Star Wars fan, and it was like these little 5-minute shorts that they would air for years in between Attack of the Clones and Episode 3. And you have Star Wars mixed with Tartakovsky's like action-packed art style. It's pretty much the same art style for Samurai Jack, and it was fucking awesome. People bitch about like the prequels. No, when we get cool shit like this, when we get cool shit like the Clone Wars show, I ain't bitching, because that was fucking awesome, and it explored Obi-Wan and Anakin's like relationship better than the actual movies did. Like you actually got a sense that Anakin was like this really well-respected Jedi Knight, and that Obi-Wan was like a good leader, and like you really couldn't get that from the movies because just the script and the acting was awful. But the show, where they could animate these characters more and like they could spread out their stories and just explore them, it just made it much better. And I do like the prequel era of Star Wars. Like the older I get, the more fond I am on it, probably because I grew up with it. But yeah, it's just great, action packed, pretty violent. Like you see characters get brutally slaughtered. The clones are great. General Grievous in this show was fucking awesome, and it's such a shame that he ended up being the way he was in Revenge of the Sith, because like in this show he was like a fucking ninja who would take out like 10 Jedi at a time. Like they were cowering in fear in his first appearance, and then by like episode 3 he's like pathetic and a coward, and it kind of sucks. I get it, he was like weakened in the show, but more I talk about it, I was gonna put it in B. No, it's another A tier show. It's so good. Megas XLR, that's the next show. I don't remember a lot about it. Maybe watch an episode or two. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I think this was Craig McCracken's second show, and it's really good. Like I really like it. I'm not gonna put it in the A tier. Spoiler alert. I'm gonna put it in probably high B. It's about this kid named Mac who has to put his imaginary friend in a foster home, and he has to visit him every day, or else they'll put him up for adoption. And there's so many like cool, funny side characters. But my main issue with the show is it definitely gets kind of annoying. It definitely has like a lot of ADHD humor, and I know that's rich coming from somebody who loves Billy and Mandy. But Foster's is just it gets kind of annoying at some points. Some of the episodes are pretty bad. But overall, like I love the main characters, except Blue. Blue just is a fucking asshole, and I get that's the point of his character, but he just sucks, man. I just can't stand Blue. He's just such an ungrateful little shit. But like Wilt, Eduardo, Coco, Frankie Fosta, Mr. Harriman, they're all like iconic. Max pretty bland too, but you know the show had really good episodes. It had great specials, like the opening movie is fantastic. Good wilt hunting. You had oh my god, I forget the name of the final special, but that was really good too. But yeah, Foster's is great. It's a high B tier Cartoon Network show. It was one of the pillars of like the mid 2000s, holding the network up, and I really liked it. And I want to go back and watch it again at some point. Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi. That was the show made about the two girls who sang the theme for the Teen Titans. Speaking of which, I don't see the Teen Titans on here, so I guess it's a Warner Brothers affiliate show. So I remember enjoying it. I don't think I liked it that much, but it had its moments. I definitely remember it. I watched a lot of it. I probably watched the whole show, but it's a little too annoying, a little too hyperactive, even for me as a kid. Life and Times of Juniper Lee. I have people swear up and down that this is like an A or an S tier show by like its second season. I watched all of it. I think it's like okay. It's not like egregiously bad or anything. It's not like terrible. I think the first season's pretty bad, but it has been a long time since I've watched it, but I did watch all of it, and I do remember it. So I'm gonna put it in. I'll throw it in C. It's about a girl who like fights ghosts and like demons and monsters, like pretty much like cryptids. Camp Lazlo. I watched a shit ton of Camp Lazlo as a kid. My opinion on it is, it's as a kid I liked it. As an adult, it's the poor man SpongeBob. Where am I gonna put it? Bro, I'll probably put it below even Puffy Amiyumi. It's just SpongeBob without all the wit and charm to it. It's obviously a copycat of it. They had a lot of the voice actors come back from SpongeBob, like Mr. Lawrence is in it. Tom Kenny's in it a bunch. There's a few other people, but it's about like these animal characters that go to camp. They have like an abusive scoutmaster, and it's just, I mean, it's a pretty harmless show. It does get like pretty gross and weird, but I don't know. I just don't like it. I could be watching SpongeBob. Sunday Pants. I don't know what that is. My Gym Partner's a Monkey. This was the beginning and the end. What a wasted slot for a show. Terrible show. Awful show. It is a very cartoony show, I will say that, but it's just obnoxious. There's like nothing there. No memorable characters. And it's just not good. It's just not funny. Just like too gross and weird, but like in a bad way. And very, very obnoxious. This is the show like your parents would not want you to watch. They tell you to change the channel. Just sucks. Ben 10. Ben 10, man. It's really good. It's really good. But I'm not obsessed with it, like the fact that some other people are. I know there's like diehard Ben 10 fans that are adults that still collect all the toys and they love the show. I think it was a very successful show for Cartoon Network. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had like 4 or 5 iterations of it. And I only watched the first 2. I'm gonna get this out of the way. I do not remember the second one. It's been way too long to remember if it's good or bad. I definitely remember the first one, and I thought it was like a fun, solid show, action packed. Again, another serialized show. Serial eyes. Am I saying that right? I guess I am. But just a fun, solid cartoon action show. It's, I don't know. I definitely liked it, but like I feel like if you want to watch a show like that, you could have turned on like Avatar, The Last Airbender, which is just way better than Ben 10 was. But it's still had its moments. Ben and Gwen fighting was annoying. Grandpa Max was a great character. Vilgax was a good villain. The aliens were great. I kind of liked it how his Omnitrix would fuck up and you kind of would not know what alien he would get. But yeah, I like Ben 10. That's okay. Squirrel Boy, it's like King of the Hill meets My Gym Partner's a Monkey. It's like the blandest fucking show ever, and it's such a nothing show. Not funny, not interesting, not memorable. It's just so bland and boring, and obnoxious. Really obnoxious, and it sucks. Class of 3000. I know people that love this show. They put it like A tier, S tier. This was Andre 3000 show about him as a teacher, teaching kids in music school, or like they had a band or something. I know it's been a while, but I definitely remember it, and it's okay. I'd probably put it like maybe like solid C tier. A lot of the music was good, the animation was good, characters were okay. It was just okay. It was an okay, fun show, pretty harmless. Chowder was the beginning of when I got a little bit older and I stopped watching Cartoon Network. I still watched a lot of Chowder. I don't remember watching like the final seasons of it. I feel like I was watching other stuff by then, but Chowder, this is like a show that like the internet loves now because it's super meta. The animation style is great. It's pretty much like a proto Gumball where they would show like moving backgrounds, and like it had a lot of meta humor. It like there's other shows on this list like Billy and Mandy like always broke the fourth wall, but Chowder just fucking took a bazooka to that, and that made it very funny, memorable. It's kind of like the Muppets in a way, where they would just constantly break the fourth wall. Definitely a memorable show, definitely a funny show. It got on my nerves. I don't like Chowder that much as a main character. I always liked Mung or Schnitzel better, but it definitely like a pretty solid CN show. I'd probably put it, honestly, I would put it below Cow and Chicken. That's how demented my head is. Yeah, Chowder's funny. I'm not like the biggest fan of it, but it's okay. Transformers. What's that show? Transformers animated? I don't remember. Speaking of, I don't see Teen Titans here. Teen Titans would be A tier if it was here. Flapjack. Flapjack came out a year after Chowder. I remember they came out pretty close to each other. I like Flapjack. I definitely do. I don't love it, but people remember this show because it was really fucked up. It definitely had a lot of like weird, gross, messed up things to it. I think it went like not too far, but it felt like a little try-hardy, where something like Courage was like more natural with like its fucked upness, and like when Courage would get really weird and like scary, it was like a part of the plot. Flapjack just did it just to do it, and it just a lot of the time it didn't work. Definitely memorable. It's about these two characters, Flapjack and Captain Knuckles. Captain Knuckles, of course, voiced by the legendary Brian Doyle Murray, who has like that really raspy voice, sort of how like I sound right now because I've been talking for an hour. But yeah, it's okay. I'd put it like high C tier. It's like another fun cartoon show. There's nothing like amazing about it. I like how Captain Knuckles would carry around a flask of maple syrup and get drunk off of it. I like the what was it called, Stormalong Harbor. I like that whole like environment. I thought it was cool. And yes, Flapjack overall is just like a fun little show. It definitely gets kind of annoying. I like some of the animation styles. They did that thing where something would be animated, and then it would cut to like a puppet version or like a statue of that thing, and I thought that was always pretty nice. But yeah, it's just like whatever. I still like Flapjack, but it's not. It was a little too try-hardy for me. Alright, next up we have The Secret Saturdays. I remember it. I don't think it's good. I always get this one mixed up with that spy show on Nickelodeon called The Exos, which is way worse. It's a pretty like inoffensive show. It's about where they go and I think they have to catch cryptids. I do remember it, and it's not the best. Would I put it above Camp Lazlo? Unironically, I put it in D tier. Like, I'd rather watch Camp Lazlo. Adventure Time. Adventure Time was the show that saved Cartoon Network and brought it out of the dark ages after the CN Real era, which is where they played all the live action trash. For that, I appreciate it, but I don't like the show too much. I think it's good. It's fun. It has good animation, good characters, but I kind of was annoyed by it. And even as a kid, when it came out, when I was like in middle school, maybe like early middle school, I just wasn't a huge fan of it. And maybe that's because I was in that mindset where I'm like, oh, that's not the Cartoon Network I grew up with. Now they're doing serialized shows. When serialized shows were always there, like K&D, and I love that show. I mentioned it earlier. But Adventure Time I've heard like very strong things about it. I've heard very negative things about it. I only remember watching season 1. I do know a lot about the lore later on, where the show gets like darker, more serious. Like Finn, the main character, starts to get a whole bunch of like romantic interests. I love Jake. I love Jake as a character. I like BMO. I remember like season 1 is where they just go on like little silly adventures. They fight the Ice King, and then that's that. Save Princess Bubblegum. Save the Candy Kingdom. And then, from what I'm to understand, it just gets more serious from there on out. The show matures, and I'd love to check it out. I'm sure I would like it more if I watched it again, but or if I watched past like the first 2 seasons. But the stuff that I remember is like low B tier for me, honestly. And I know people will get offended by that. That's like an insane statement, but I'm just rating the first few seasons. At some point, I will buy the box set. I'll watch the rest of it. Ben 10 Alien Force. I have seen it. I think people like this one. Alien Force Ultimate Alien. No, I don't remember it. Should have put it down there. Generator Rex. Never seen any of it, so I don't know. Regular show came out, I want to say a year after Adventure Time. Again, I was sort of in that mindset where I'm like, oh, I don't like this new style of like Cartoon Network. I complained back then that like Cartoon Network shows were lacking an edge, and I don't think it was that era, but I think now they sort of do. But regular show is fucking awesome. I remember, again, I didn't watch it as a kid because I was like moving on to other like live action shows and like dramas and stuff like that. But coming back to it now, even though I didn't grow up with it, regular show's fucking peak, bro. I would probably put it in like high, not above Dexter's Lab, like high A tier. Better than Powerpuff Girls, not better than classic Dexter. It's just great. It's just great characters, great plot lines. Shit just goes fucking berserk constantly. Like they'll be told to like play an arcade game or clean like the snack shack or something, and then they end up fighting like the devil or like God or like just crazy shit. And I like insane shit, and I love Mordecai and Rigby. I like the plot, like how the characters grow as the show progresses. Benson's great, Skips is great, Pops, and all the side characters just yeah, it's anything but a regular show. And yeah, it's just a very cartoony cartoon, and I love it. Like it's really good, and I watched all of it at this point. I think the movie was the finale, right? The movie occurred when I was like a junior in high school, a senior, and I didn't like watch it fully through until this year. And like, man, it's fucking great. It's really funny, and it's just a good time all around, and it's batshit crazy. Is it the most batshit crazy show on the network? Like most insane show? I think the most insane show is coming up, but I would say this and Courage are definitely contenders. Symbiotic Titan, bro, haven't seen it, but I'm gonna add it to my watch list because it's something I want to watch. It's a Gendy show, so I have to watch it at some point. Robotomy, I've heard Robotomy's atrocious. I've never seen it. I have no interest in it. Problem Solvers, I have seen it. What my eyes could stand of it, and it's fucking terrible. Just ugly, not funny, too crude, and it should have been really on Adult Swim, and even on Adult Swim it would have been a terrible show. F tier, I think it's the worst thing on the network. Gumball came out, I think, shortly after regular show. It's another show I didn't appreciate because I didn't grow up with it. I was in like middle school when it came out, but yeah, it's a classic. It's one of CN's best shows. It's really, really good. It's really, really, really good, and very meta. Breaks the fourth wall. Probably even more so than Chowder breaks the fourth wall. It's way better than Chowder. I love the animation of this show. I think Gumball has like one of the best like animation styles on any cartoon show of all time. It's very innovative. The characters are great. I can't think of a show where like the mom is my favorite character except Gumball. Nicole Watterson's just fantastic. The whole show is just hilarious. It's super unique. There's so many different animation styles. It's definitely like a proto Smiling Friends in that way, where you'll have like 2D, 3D, just like, I don't know, man. It's so good. It's so good and funny. I have to watch the revival. Haven't seen Gumball fully through. I've heard the first season's not the best, so maybe that's another reason why I wasn't too keen on it, was because I watched it when the first season was on. But over time, it's A tier. Where would I put it in A? Since I haven't seen it fully through, and I know that's not fair to say, I would put it like low A, but like I'm sure it would be up there with like regular show, maybe even above Powerpuff Girls. Secret Mountain Fort, awesome. Same thing as Problem Solvers, just trash and garbage. Slightly better than Problem Solvers. This version of Ben 10, never seen it. Never seen it. These two I have. This one, I don't remember. Uncle Grandpa, I'm becoming more Uncle Grandpa pilled over time. I don't like the show. I still don't like the show. But I like the guy who made it. He went on to make like the HBO Max Looney Tunes shorts, and he made The Day the Earth Blew Up, which is fantastic. This show is, this is probably the most batshit CN show, tied with Courage and regular show. It's too tryhardy. I don't like the animation style. Uncle Grandpa has like Toon Force, I guess, which is like a real thing people say. He's like an all-powerful god. In like the same vein as like Bugs Bunny, he can shapeshift and do all sorts of crazy shit, but I don't know. I don't like the show. That said, would I rather watch it above a lot of the things on this list? Yes. It's not good, but I probably would watch it above like My Gym Partner's a Monkey and like Mike Lou and Oak. So I'll put it like high F. Pizza Steve. Goddamn Pizza Steve. Steven Universe. Weird one. So when the movie came out, I always said I would never watch this show because I didn't like the art style of it. I thought it was very cringe. And when the movie came out, I started like listening to the soundtrack because it popped up on my feed, and I thought the soundtrack for that movie was fantastic. So I went back and I checked out the first like few seasons of the show. I've never fully finished it. I've seen the first few seasons, all like the really like high rated episodes. I know I should have watched the whole show before I made an opinion, but I've seen enough of it. At some point I'll probably watch the whole show. It's good, man. It's really, really good. I like it better than Adventure Time, because it was like that era of like 2010s animation when they started doing like really good serialized shows with like in-depth characters, and I'd probably I'd probably rather watch it above Ben 10. I feel like when I watch it, it'll be even higher when I finish it, but yeah, I just really liked it. I just thought it was really, really good and unique. And yeah, season 1 again, I've heard is like very like random plot lines of like Steven and like the gems, like getting into like little situations, like fighting villains, solving problems, and then of course the show becomes more serialized over time. And I like the characters, I like the music, I like the show. I don't really care about the LGBT undertones. I'm not like offended by that. Like, who the fuck would be offended by that? Like, I get that it's in a kid show, but like it's 2026, and like when the show premiered it was like 2013-14, so like even like back then, like who gives a fuck? If a show's good, it's good. My issue with it is that they tie up a lot of the plot lines really quickly. There's a lot of like things that don't make sense in the show, but like we're talking about a cartoon for like kids and like teenagers, but overall, like from what I've seen of it, yeah, I really like it. I know people call it really cringe and gay. They don't like Rebecca Sugar, but I don't know, man. I just thought it was good. It could definitely have been a lot better if they cut out and trimmed the fat, but for a cartoon, it's good. Mixels. I've seen the Mixels. It is awful. It is fucking god awful. Actually, no, Mixels is the worst show. Fuck that show. Clarence! Oh my goodness. So, Clarence is a show that I completely missed the point of. I first watched it when my brother was younger, when he was watching it, and I was like a junior in high school when it came out. So I was long done watching Cartoon Network by then. And I have to say, I didn't like it. I thought it was obnoxious. I thought the art style was too clean. I thought it was very generic, and gross and just annoying, and it didn't have like the same edge that like the cartoons I grew up with had. And I have to say, I was so wrong, because Clarence is fantastic. Clarence is probably the most realistic show on the network. It's very nostalgia driven. The show was made in like the early to mid 2010s, but it feels like it could take place in the 90s. It feels like it could take place in like the early 2000s. There's episodes where the characters go to like the video store. There's a lot of things that like 2010s kids didn't do, like the arcade, like spend all the time outside. There's a lot of like cool plot points, like they don't shove in your face. Like Clarence's mom obviously went through like a separation, so like you never know who Clarence's real dad is, but he has like a stepdad who's really cool, and he's a great character. Sumo comes from like a low income home. Sumo's like one of the best characters in any Cartoon Network show. Jeff has like 2 lesbian moms, and they were like kind of pushing boundaries with Clarence, sort of in the same way they were with like Steven Universe, but like who cares? Like I don't care about LGBTQ stuff in my shows. I just assume that everybody in the animation industry is like for that stuff, so like who cares? Like it's just natural. It should be natural. Like you have 2 moms, and like I remember that was such a big deal with Clarence. It's like who cares? But it's good that the show did it, but like I want to live in a world where like it's not a big issue. But okay, going to the actual show, it's just a very real show about kids being kids, and that's sort of what I stated why I love Ed, Edd n Eddy. But Ed, Edd n Eddy is very cartoony and very slapsticky. Ed, Edd n Eddy's strength is that it has great characters, but yeah, it definitely goes over the top to where you're like, yeah, this is still a cartoon. Clarence could be like a live action show. The main character is very gross and annoying, but like that's what's great about the show, is there's so many other hyperactive ADHD kids that have like a wild imagination like Clarence. We all knew kids like that growing up. And you know, these kids all come from like different backgrounds, different home lives, and they're all friends, and it's just a very like harmless, laid back, fun show about it's a slice of life show. The only other show I can think of like Clarence is Hey Arnold, but Hey Arnold's more for city kids. Clarence is for kids that like grew up in the suburbs. You know, hot summers, bike rides, going to the pool, and I love all the scenarios that Clarence gets himself into. It's very relatable, and I didn't watch this show fully through until the summer based on a friend's recommendation, and this might rustle some jimmies, but yeah, it's a fucking A tier, bro. I would put this show above shows I grew up with as a kid. I'd put it above regular show. I would put Clarence above regular show. That's how much I love it. Side characters are great. It's really funny. It's got very memorable, like well-written episodes. It's just a laid back, low stakes, just fun show, and it's just something fun to watch. It's not like super duper cartoony, but yeah, it's very real. It's sort of like King of the Hill in that way, and yeah, I love it. I think it's fantastic. Now, going to something completely opposite, Over the Garden Wall. This came out when I was in high school. I completely ignored it. It's a 10-episode mini-series. I think it was 10. And I think it makes like a 90-minute movie if you watch it fully through. Maybe 100+ minutes. It's about 2 kids that go into the woods on Halloween night. They get lost, and they run into all sorts of shenanigans trying to get home. Now, when I watched this show, I thought it was going to be like a true, like Goosebumps or like Twilight Zone or something weird like that. And there are like creepy things in the show and like really freaky episodes, but it's more of like a fantasy show. It's like it's not purely scary. It's just very, it's dreamlike. It's a very dreamlike show. And I watched it in the summer, and I have to say that when I rewatch this show, it's definitely going to be in the fall, because this is a very like fall feeling show, and that's the perfect time. I love the art direction of the show. I love the characters. I love how each episode is a different plot. It's somewhere different. Like one episode is like a mansion mystery. One episode is like they're on like a boat with a bunch of like frogs. One episode is like they're at I don't want to like say everything because I don't remember every episode because I watched it months and months ago. But what I've seen of Over the Garden Wall, yeah, I loved it. That said, it's a mini series, so I'm not gonna put it above like a full series. But like, even though what I watched and what I loved, it was like a 10 out of 10 mini series. It's like, what would I rather have? Like the entirety of Dexter's Lab and Clarence and Regular Show or Over the Garden Wall, and I'd have to say like it's A tier. It's an A tier show, but the entirety of it is S tier. So I don't really know how to put it. It's fantastic, but like I wouldn't watch it above any of the other shows above it, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm going in like tangents. No, it's fucking fantastic, and I loved it. Loved Over the Garden Wall. We Bare Bears. Oh boy, never seen it. I was just at the Cartoon Network Hotel, and there was a lot of like prominent We Bare Bears things on the wall. What I've seen of it, like I think it's cute, but I'm gonna put it in the haven't seen category. I know people love it. The Royals have never seen it. Powerpuff Girls 2016. I have seen it. Trash, garbage, soulless, bullshit. That said, I probably would still rather watch it over like a lot of the other shows because it is at the end of the day the Powerpuff Girls, even though like it's a bastardized version of it where they're like twerking and like doing weird fucking shit. And I think some of the writers were like sexual predators or something, but yeah, it's bad, it's trash, but it's Powerpuff Girls. Mighty Magi stories, I've heard that's good. I've never seen it. There are 5 iterations of Bedtime. I've never seen it. OK KO, never seen it. Apple and Onion, never seen it. Craig of the Creek, okay, I have seen this when it came out. Like some episodes were put on like Cartoon Network's YouTube or maybe like a re-upload channel. Haven't seen it fully through enough to say that I like it. There's a YouTuber I watch who says that this is his favorite animated show of all time. What I've seen I really, really liked, and I do plan on watching it because it does give me the same vibes as Clarence. But whereas Clarence is like very messy and gross, Craig of the Creek feels a little too like clean in that sense, and like I don't want to say neutered, but just a little too polite and clean compared to like the edge that Clarence has. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm gonna put it on my watch list. Summer Camp Island, never seen. I don't know what that is. Moo something. I have seen Infinity Train. Infinity Train I just watched in January. That was fucking awesome. Again, this show has 4 seasons. I think it was originally supposed to have 8, and then there was some like issue where they canceled it. I'm pretty sure the first 3 seasons were on Cartoon Network. Season 4 was on HBO Max, back when Max had all the Cartoon Network shows. And this is probably the darkest CN show. I think it is. It's very dark, very strange and weird. I loved it. That said, it gets an A. It's at the lower end of the A tier. I hope it gets its full run. It's about a bunch of characters on a train learning lessons, and like once you learn your lesson, the number in your arm goes down, and once it hits 0, you're home free. You're a changed man or woman. And it tells the story from like different perspectives of different characters that continuously like run into each other and like they fight each other. They meet each other and they like have to work together sometimes. It's just great. It was fucking great. My favorite seasons, for those who know, I'll just give you a quick ranking. Best to worst, I would say 1, 3, 2, 4. 3 is really dark. Season 3 is really dark. I heard they were gonna get even darker than that, but yeah, there definitely were some loose plot points that they never followed up on. But yeah, A tier. And then Steven Universe Future, never seen. I know this came out after the movie. Oh, I have to add it to my watch list. And then yeah, the rest of it, I haven't seen it. But yeah, all like the main Cartoon Network shows. Bottom being Mixels, the gross Secret Mountain Fort Awesome Problem Solvers, Squirrel Boy, which is fucking terrible, Mike Luganogue, which is boring, My Gym Partner's a Monkey, Powerpuff 16, Uncle Grandpa, D tier, Secret Saturdays, Camp Lazlo, Hi Hi Puffy Amayumi, Evil Konkane. C tier, Life and Times of Juniper Lee, I Am Weasel, Class of 3000, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. B tier, Adventure, I'll just put Adventure Time in the watch list because I have to watch the rest of it. Same with Steven Universe. Grim and Evil, Ben 10, Chowder, Cow and Chicken, Johnny Bravo, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. A tier, Infinity Train, Over the Garden Wall, The Amazing World of Gumball, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Codename Kids Next Door, Powerpuff Girls, Regular Show, Clarence, Dexter's Lab, and then, Dexter's Lab seasons 1 and 2. I think, like, seasons 3 and 4 of Dexter's Lab, no joke, would be D or F tier. It's that bad. Courage, Cowardly Dog, Samurai Jack, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and Ed, Edd n Eddy. Those are my S tiers, A, B, C, D, and F. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video.